he's reacting, he knows, but at the same time, rather than I'm trading that for time, rather than go around or wait till I've got more units, I'm going in now. And this is pushing it. Look, he's got defences, tanks, he's ready for me here.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game. This is my first game of today. We're on Kosovo map. I'm using Russia and my opponent's using Ukraine for this game. Looks like my opponent's gone for a kennel, so he wants a dog early, even before a barracks. When I build a kennel, I usually make my barracks first, so I can send out a couple of rifles and maybe an engineer, and then the dog. But this dog's going off on a walk, and it looks like he's hunting engineers. And this is why, you see, the dog got there before my engineer could, and before my rifles have got into position. So, you know, the dogs can clear a lot of ground, can cover a lot of ground, and that's why I send a rifleman up this way. The whole point is for dogs, but I think dogs have been changed a little bit recently. You see, they can attack from further. You see, he's just killed my engineer, no problem. And the dog even escaped. So that wasn't a good start for me. And I'm not looking for my opponent's engineer at all. Now, I normally do. I normally send 4 riflemen straight out. But on this map, I have a system. And it looks like that dog managed to catch my engineer out nicely. But I've got a second engineer, and I'm escorting him a little more carefully this time, because I don't know where the dog is. He may even have sent the dog straight down here to wait in case I trained another engineer. So I thought, actually, he knows if I'm training another engineer, he knows where it's going to be. He's with his troops for the view range bonus. So it was lucky that I didn't go and contest the centre, because he'd have killed any of my troops using the dog's view range bonus. But it's moving ahead. It's a little reckless. You have to move a dog in small movements so that you don't run into a rifleman's view range. And if you move your dog cell by cell, you'll uncover the enemy units before they can see you, a rifleman, because a dog's got a longer view range. So as long as you don't move too far forward, you'll see a rifleman before he can see you. So if you move them in just small movements, especially when you're close to oil derricks, you can then avoid losing your dog and spot the enemy before they can see you. Now, the dog is moving ahead while I'm going for this second oil derrick. And it was lucky, I've only got a single rocket launcher soldier, but if I'd been training the others, the dog would have caught them out. It looks like the engineer's being escorted by the dog. Here we go. Now he can see this because I'm capturing it, and it belongs to him. Now it belongs to me, but he's obviously his APC can pick off who he wants. But I captured it, luckily. Now here's my APC, and I spotted the rocket launcher soldier, and I tried to target a second one, and there turned out to be 3, and that's it. I took the chance and blew it, and he's taken out everything. So I'm in a bad way. I've got 4 riflemen, I've just trained a rocket soldier and another rifleman, but I had 4 riflemen at my base. That's not a good situation. And the reason I did it was to capture this oil derrick, and he's taking it straight back. So he's got 2, and I've got 1 at the moment. His base is he's going for some sort of different build, a strange build. He's not got his service depot yet. He's churning. I suppose he's gone for a bigger army, bigger early army. Because because of my situation, I decided to build a heavy tank before I built my MCV. Just because I was in a poor situation. I didn't want to go a long time without building a single vehicle. Because I don't want that vulnerability of losing my APC and then not having a vehicle for a while, plus all the time I'm building my MCV, I won't have a vehicle, and then I've got to build a vehicle after that. So it's a fairly, it's a long space of time to be without any vehicle cover at all. So it's a vulnerable point, which is why I don't like to lose my APC. My opponent's moving out with a second MCV. But my opponent's slightly ahead in army value, very slightly. The dog's still sat there, and I thought, I've got to escort this MCV properly. It's important. If I was to lose that, I'm already in a bad situation. If I was to lose the MCV on my second construction yard, that means, you know, I'm running out of ore here. So that means I'd be in even bigger trouble. I've got a couple of rifles guarding it, the view range from the oil derrick, and these units. But I'm gathering a force and I need to move out and get another expansion set up. Now my opponent's moving forward and my rifleman caught his dog, shot his dog. So it's a veteran. But I noticed, caught a glimpse of that. Look, saw his construction yard and power plant, so I knew that he's doing an aggressive base push. And I thought it's likely he owns all the oil derricks because of what happened. And he does. Look, he's got 1, 2, 3 oil derricks to my 1. And then I saw units moving over here to attack my oil derrick, and now I thought, if his force is moving in this direction and its formation is going that way, I'll attack him on the other side, and hopefully he won't have an army in position ready, because I thought, I've got to do something. He's base pushing aggressively, and then I saw him attack that, but he's not out of position, he's ready, and he's got 3 flame towers, 3 heavy tanks. See, I'm picking off his tanks with my tanks. I don't want my tanks shooting at his troops. And I've got a nice little foothold there. And as long as I've got a tank, I'm okay. And I thought, alright, that's okay now. But I'm lower than my enemy for army value, only just. There you go, knocked out his ore truck. And he's sent a small force over here, but I've got more than enough in the way of base defences. Now his MCV's running. I didn't see it was that low in health. I may have pursued it. But I thought, I'm not stringing my units out between these structures to chase an MCV and dying, and not catching it anyway. So, because he can see all this with the view range from his structures. Look, he can see everything that's going on. So I knew I couldn't just sit and do nothing, but I didn't want to commit and waste units, so look, he's trying again. I saw that, and he's got a larger army value at that point, and now I've got no vehicles. I thought, this is a bad situation, this is not good at all. And then I saw a base defence next to me. I thought, right, I've got to leg it. If I carry on there, I'm going to lose all of that. Now my MCV is backing me up, but I couldn't move it any further forward, so I set it up here. And my opponent's focusing all his fire on it, so I can kill these units without them firing back, and that's the alt move. So my MCV survived directly because my viewer that has been reminding me of that command, he's responsible for saving my MCV there. So thank you very much to the viewer who has been reminding me about the alt move command for your MCV, and where you pack up your conyard and it moves away instantly in a single command. That just saved me. So thanks to that viewer, I've, you know, that saved this game. So thank you to that particular viewer. I'm sure you know who you are. Thank you for the alt move command reminders. I knew about them anyway, but I wasn't getting the message and using them properly. Now I am, thanks to that viewer. And it's kept my MCV alive, and I've captured his ore refinery. That's why I didn't destroy it. Now, he did get the view range from it, but it was only one of a few structures. Now, I can't move forward out of position. I've got to destroy what I need to and move on. Now, sadly, I lost my engineer, but I've got my radar dome now. I want to infiltrate this. And I'm at 9,000 army value. My opponent's at 5 after all that struggling, and he's fallen back again. He knows not to keep fighting in the field like that. He knows he's got to get back. And he saved his MCV, very nicely done, but my thieves are moving past these guys, so he knows I've got thieves, and I didn't get the chance to infiltrate there. So, and he can also see me moving this way. I knew that, but I took the chance because I wanted to attack an expansion here, and there isn't one. But I know, even though I'm making a judgment call where I know he can see these units moving past his oil derrick, but at the same time, you see he's reacting, he knows, but at the same time, rather than I'm trading that for time, rather than go around or wait till I've got more units, I'm going in now. And this is pushing it, look, he's got defences, tanks, he's ready for me here, and my thieves are moving up. And I knew they're not going through there. They're going around. They're going around. And there you go. I've decided to call off that attack. And he's got very few units there, but leave enough units in place to be a harassment and be a distraction. And now the rest of my forces are hitting his main base from the front. And he's got a V2, but at this point that I'm hitting him, tech is a liability. That just means he's got less standard units, and I'm infiltrating. And he's got no cash by the looks of that. He's calling it. And there you go, that was a short, brutal one for you. And I'll go through the army graphs and the charts and stuff, but I'll add another replay to this one. So here's the army graph, look at that. That was a good battle, that one. Earnings graph, fairly even. My finishing army is not a lot, it was high pressure, that battle, so I don't have a lot of units, but this is a decent little force, a 12,000 army value. And I killed 173 of my opponent's units. My opponent killed 167 of mine, so he did well. But I didn't lose any structures and my opponent lost 14. I did destroy 43,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 36,000 credits worth of my assets. And I do have support powers because I built an airfield, so I've got my paratroops and spy plane ticking down. And I am producing refineries. I'm going to place one up here, look, because I moved forward. And I'm training thieves and heavy tanks. Very nice. Economy, I've got 7 ore trucks. 7 ore trucks remaining. But I didn't manage to hold on to any oil derricks. They're either destroyed or my opponent did far better for oil derricks in that game. I earned 79 grand, my opponent earned 72, and we've got a few grand each. Not bad. We did okay for cash. Here's the basics. I was at 32 actions per minute, my opponent was at 29 actions per minute, and there's the scores, 525, 377, very good. And there's your graphs and charts, etc. I'm going to show another replay on this one, on this for this post, just so it's a bit more substantial.
Battle control terminated.
And I'm going to show a pair of games that I played yesterday. And this is a 1v1 on Scorched Earth. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine like last time, but it's not the same opponent as my previous game. This is a pair of games from last night that I'm going to show. Yeah, on this map, as quite often, I usually send out my 4 rifles. Here they are, look, 4 riflemen moving out. My opponent sent a stream of rifles. I think that's a characteristic of this player. He often sends a larger than standard stream of rifles straight for you, or straight for whatever objective he's going for. This rifleman sneaked past, but he doesn't have an engineer, so I've got to watch it. But they're coming straight for me here, and I knew it. I knew he was, and he shouldn't have hesitated. I've got very few troops, so I'm capturing this with my engineer, and I bottled it. Look, he got a shot on the engineer, but I bottled it and ran. Now, it may have been the right choice since he got a shot on me, but there's 4, now 5, and I'm just holding on. Starting the capture again. Sending in who I can. That's it, that'll do the job. Now, I've just got the capture and won that engagement, but I haven't got enough to really move forward or do much. But I kept my engineer alive. My opponent hasn't trained one. He committed everything, his cash into that. But I'm training some units. I sent every rifleman I had. There isn't even anyone guarding my power plants or my nothing, my base, none of that. But I'm escorting the engineer to the second oil derrick, because since I've got one, I need to capture these oil derricks as early as possible. But sometimes on this map I end up going through for the centre, and capturing the hospital next. But I think the best thing is to go straight for your 2 easiest oil derricks. I think that's probably the best choice. My opponent's got an APC, that's a problem. So it's a war factory first build. He should have put his war factory here so that he can build ore trucks and go straight to mining. And he's picked up a few troops. And I'm just starting to train rocket soldiers. I've got 3 there. So here we go, he's sent his APC in. And he dropped off his soldiers in the middle of my men. But that's strange, he didn't get... yeah, look, my opponent even commented, no crushes. That's a bit... yeah, that's bad luck. And I said so. But there's my engineer. I've taken both oil derricks close to me. And my opponent has got nothing. Let's just check his army value, 0. If only I'd have known. So, I've got my scout vehicle now, and the engineer's going to get picked up by the looks of that and go for the centre, because I know he's not got an engineer, most likely. Look, I'm guarding these oil derricks, so I know he's not got any engineer, so I'm fairly confident that I can move out. You see, his ore truck came out of the war factory, and it's gone here, so it has to move all the way to the ore field. And then once it's got a full load of ore, it has to move all the way back to the refinery. That's a lot of wasted time. You can't fight under those conditions. Look, my ore trucks are, like, efficient. You know, they're not going to be coming out of the war factory and driving to the other side of the base. That's, that lose you the game. Now he's alright. He's far better off now, and he's got them all mining from here. So he's sorted that situation. It was only why when it was first built, I'm sure, because it'll drive to the nearest ore field. Now I'm placing rifle guards a little bit late because of the early commotion. And I've taken the hospital. Is that the engineer there? Yeah, there he is. But I haven't taken this yet. I'm being cautious. My opponent's got an engineer now. And an APC. He's got the engineer inside the APC, actually. Yeah, and it's safely escorting it, because that engineer would have been lost if he'd have just walked straight there. So he made the right choice there, definitely. And on this map, you can snipe the engineer from the sides here with a rifleman. So you can blind fire into it as well. If you see the oil derrick flashing and you know it's being captured, he has to be here. So you can pick off the engineer from the edges. You see here, look, my rifleman positioned here, you know, you could snipe an engineer capturing that. There's mine, he's sat back. I've not gone for the closest oil derrick. Obviously not confident enough. You see, this is why you don't just do nothing and be idle, because your opponent recovers. He had 0 army value, and now he's got 4 grand, so he's got very little, but still, I shouldn't be idle, and I've got a tank now moving to the front lines, my first expansion. Now, with this group here, with all rifles, my APC could just drive up and, you know, I'd slaughter them. Even with 2 rockets, I'd still win that engagement. There's too many riflemen. And there you go, my scouts. I've got an expansion there, and my scouts revealing my enemy's progress, expansion progress. And we've got 2 oil derricks each. For the whole game, I could have had 3. In fact, I could have had 4 quite easily, so I must have been quite idle. I don't know why. But I'm moving up with the tanks, and I've even got my APC with me, and I've expanded here. I've got an eco-transfer, and a decent force here's moving out. But I'm mindful of keeping my base protected, and here we go. My opponent's at nearly 10 grand, I'm at 19 grand army value, so he's got no hope. And his APC with an engineer is moving out. And I'm training infantry near the battle site, not at it, but close. And it would have been fairly obvious that I'm doing okay in this battle. Now you see, your tanks have to stay close to your infantry. When you're in combat, you can't let them drive ahead. because even a few squares, a few cells will make the difference between your infantry fighting with a tank and not. And if your tank's too far ahead during combat, it just means it's in combat on its own without support. So I keep them tucked in close to the front of my infantry if possible. There you go, his MCV's packing up and leaving. I'm bringing... There, he's got a capture underway. He's got an engineer capturing my construction yard and the APC to protect it, but I had to sell a power plant to kill the engineer. And then order a few rocket soldiers just to make sure I can destroy the APC. And he can see all this, my opponent. Look, he's got a view range. You don't move between your opponent's structures if you can help it. Obviously, we know why I'm leaving the oil refinery alive. Even if I don't have a radar dome, I will still want to use an engineer to capture it. It saves you building a new refinery. And it means that you get a refinery for free. And there you go, I'm moving in amongst his home base, and he hasn't done a proper eco transfer yet, so his construction yard's got no hope of escape. I can quickly destroy structures like that. And there's my APC, helping keep an eye on things on the flanks. And you see, it's always need some units at your home base. And there you go, I've got an engineer, and I want to capture that, you see. I'm always mindful, and I'm blocking so he can't build his vehicle. It's ready to roll out, but he can't because my vehicle's blocking the exit. That means he can't build tanks or a light tank or a ranger or an ore truck because my heavy tank is in the way. You see how it's ready to build, but he can't. And I've captured the refinery. I've actually got an APC to transport the engineer as well. It looks like that rifleman may kill him. In fact, he's been ordered to. Very nice. He nearly made it through there. That was very nice. No attacks on the home base. I wonder what that was. Oh, power. I needed power, so I sold a flame tower. And I'm not, you know, moving forward. You got to stop them. Look, the flame tower gets a few shots off free. So don't just run ahead with troops. Look, they end up blocking your tanks. So my army has not been screened for this entire engagement. It still isn't. It still isn't. So the engagement was over before I got a tank into position. So I probably took double the casualties I needed to. And I'm still paying for it. But it's fine. I know I've got this. My opponent's broken. Look, capturing. See, I'm leaving these structures behind intact. Now he can't sell that, and the APC will protect it, hopefully, from them. Will he get there in time? You see, he's ordered these three to kill the engineer. Nice. He's called it. It would have been interesting to see if they'd have made it. Look, these guys were on the way as well. And, you know, everything's heading for this corner. So I'll go through the graphs and charts. That was my first game against this opponent last night, I think. But yeah, he was behind me there after a bad start. And he was doing okay for earnings, though. Just a bit of an initial delay, but I'm not keen on the War Factory first build anyway. But my finishing army's a good one. You know, I've got plenty there. And I've got, it's a 21,000 army value I've got now. And my opponent lost 15 structures, I lost none. My opponent killed 128 units, I killed 174 units. And my opponent destroyed 20,000 credits worth of my assets. I destroyed 44,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. And there are no support powers in effect. I don't think I even got to the radar dome, no. And I am building the radar dome now. It's got 8 seconds left before I place it. So I would soon have had tech assets if the game had have continued. Now, I've got 7 ore trucks, but I've got an extra refinery, don't forget. I would have had a second extra refinery as well. But I earned my opponent, earned 55,000 credits. I earned 83,000 credits, and I've still got my 2 oil derricks, and I had the hospital as well, of course. But I've got 19,000 credits, very nice, and my opponent's got 3.5, so we were okay for cash. And I was at 26 actions per minute, my opponent was at 28 actions per minute. And there's your scores, basics, and I think I'll I'll add the second game because it goes with this one. I fought them both one in a row, so I'll add the second game against this player to this post. It'll make it a bit long, but still, I think it's worth it because those two games went together. The last one and this one. So we are on Argon map. My opponent's using England. I'm using Russia. So we're sending our infantry out, and like I say, a trait of this player is that he seems to send a trail of infantry straight to an objective. Now, I don't know this map too well. I do like it, but I don't use it that often, and I've got a dog this time, and I send rifles to check where the enemy is focusing his forces. So you see the dog helping me shoot them, keep the dog. Look at my engineer, I've nearly ran into the enemy. Now I need to keep back and then use the dog carefully to reveal the enemy. And I'll try and demonstrate what I mean. There you go, you see I can see his rifles, they can't see me. So I can shoot, he can't shoot back. So you just need to gradually move your dog and try and get the enemy to the up, down, left or right, because diagonally from a unit the view range is less. Look here, diagonally from the dog. There you go. Being very cautious, look, and he's capturing, and now he's got the view range of that, so I shouldn't have attacked there like that, but I thought there aren't enough units, so and he's got my dog. And now he's got my engineer. But I did win that engagement. Yeah, not a very good use of the dog, but still, it showed you how it works. And I'm protecting that, but he's still earning from it. And he's actually got this one guarded, so he can earn that. He's done well for the oil derrick stage. And he's got a light tank, because he's going for War Factory first build. But, you know, he should be putting his War Factory here. Now, I've trained another engineer, but I'm not very well off for units, and I don't have rocket soldiers yet. It's way after 2 minutes, so I need to address that situation. I'm training 8 rifles, and then my rockets at 8 minutes. At 2 minutes, so I need to do that sooner, and not have... I've lost an engineer, and not have 8 rifles training before I can produce a rocket. It's too long. So now the light tank has caught me. I've lost my second engineer. He squashed it. Got one shot off, and now I've got 1 rocket soldier, and it'll really drain my economy. Look, I'm running out of cash. And his light tank is getting away with all this. I can't stop it. It's too quick. And I've produced my APC now. So you see all this distraction that he's got on me, and I'm at 0 cash while he's doing okay, plus he's got the oil derricks, and he still has his engineer. So I'm in I've got problems here. Now he's hitting my power plant, and I'm at 0 cash. So yeah, I've got problems. Let's just see if it's affected the early army value yet. Yeah, I'm not doing well. And his light tank escaped. See, thought I'd try and head it off, but it would have escaped anyway. Yeah, and he's still slightly ahead in army value. Yeah, I've got a kennel there, look. I've got a ranger, and he's got his engineer in it, so it's quickly transporting the engineer about. And here you go, I've got my APC there, and I saw that I should have immediately attacked because they're just riflemen. Hurry up, at least to get this engagement, because he hasn't got the view range of the oil derrick, and those bullets are just going to bounce off my APC. So these need to hurry up and attack. And he's not got rocket soldiers yet. And here we go. I've sent my engineer back, so let's see what happens. It's a light tank there now. My APC's in trouble, and it's taken a few hits before it was in the red. But now, there you go, look, I've lost that. And he's got to run away, drive away quickly. Luckily, the light tank has missed my engineer, so he's legging it now, but he can immediately recapture it. He's got his engineer and his ranger, so he can just take that back. And the light tank is causing trouble. Now, there you go, I've hit him. If he takes another rocket, he'll be done for. But I was worried about my APC, it was nearly destroyed. And my engineer's over there. Now he's going to capture the only oil derrick I've got. My opponent's expanded up to here. So his expansion isn't earning yet. There it is, just started now. And his light tank got away again. And I saw all that because it belonged to me, the oil derrick. So I'm thinking I need to stop this and gather some forces. Terrible. Couple of squashes and that's it. And I needed my heavy tank up front. Now he's got 2 tanks. It's but they should be using the view range of the oil derrick as well as what they've got there. Now my opponent's at 10,000 army value, I'm at 7,000, so you can see things are going badly for me. And I've got my expansion MCV, my second MCV, and I'm escorting it as best I can. I've got a couple of tanks, and here we go. It looks like I'm out of position, but I need to try. And he's got me, look, with these 2 tanks up front, and my tank's still not screening. But now, look, you see my tank's too far ahead, so he was taking fire from all that infantry, and I've lost my expansion, my only tanks, and my MCV has to retreat. And my opponent's at 10,000 army value, I'm at 4. So I'm retreating again, got to gather what resources I can, and what assets I can, and make a stand. And I'm just hoping that he's going to attack. See, wasted that tank. Blew it away, the last bit of it. And the tank's screening the flame tower. Fry him. Go on, fry it. No, wasted it really quickly. And Cash is badly, in bad situation for Cash. Now I've got nothing. You see, I used that alt move command, but I was completely under fire from them. I had no hope. And see, as I'm trying to make a stand here. Now I can stop this force, yeah, no problem, but it's what comes after. See, he's retreating now, but I've been gutted. I've got no MCV. See, I can run these guys down now. But I've got this here, it was a lifeline. I thought, I've got nothing at my home base to harvest, but this is a lifeline. It's an expansion ready set up, so I can actually start mining from it now, and I tried to move up and defend it, and use its view range, etc. But look, these 4 tanks arrived, and that's it. And now I should have used these ore trucks first. I should have sent them up front and then that small force behind them. As you see, I'm using these ore trucks to crush, but it's you know, it's a last resort tactic. I've got a couple of grand now, but there's nothing I can really do. I wasn't expecting this, and now I've built my MCV. My opponent's caught it straight away. So I thought, oh dear. I still have to try and drive away, but I don't even have rocket troops to fire on them, look, as they drive past. That was a killer blow. To lose that immediately, and then there's my ore trucks, look. All in a bad way. Now my refinery's blocked, they can't drop it off, and they're just getting wasted while I'm busy elsewhere. Trying to resist, look, and I've put well done, because it's obviously over. Obviously, I'm not giving up yet, but it's over. I'm just basically defending my last assets. Yeah, 13,000 army value to my opponent. I've got 3,000, 4,000 now. And he's just typed, I'm assuming you're calling it. And, like, no, I wasn't exactly calling it, but it is over. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't have turned the game around and gone on to win. It's over. You know, if he... like misunderstands something I've typed, then, you know, I know that from the past that you don't type things like that unless you mean it's over. So when I did put well played, I knew it was done. It's just, I've got to finish me still. Because I'm not gonna, like, I've still got units and assets. I've just built another MCV, look. I'm not gonna surrender and abandon my units. I did type that he has to finish it off, but it was obviously over. And that's the second of those 2 games, so it was one each to me, one to Jinx in that for these 2. And my first game against Dodder was a good one. That was my first game of today. But these 2 games that I've just shown, I'm capturing an oil derrick. Look, these 2 games that I've just shown, these were fought last night. But I thought I'd show them anyway. And this is so obviously this post's 3 games long, and it's just finishing up. Look, I've got my MCV. He's found it with his helicopter, and he's shot my engineer. So I'll go through the graphs and charts. Look, and it's like the opposite to what I would expect. It's me getting the beating this time. So well played to my opponent, and good on him. This is obviously his home turf. So, but I did play a game against him, and the decider was on this map that I won in our last 3 games. But there's the earnings graph. You know, mine's a bit sporadic, but it wasn't too bad. I just didn't have cash at the right times, and yeah, he beat me. So good, fair play to him. Well played. There's my opponent's finishing army. He's got some helicopters, tanks, troops, combat chart. He's got a 25 grand army value at the end there. Nice. And he didn't lose any structures. I lost 9. But my opponent killed 161 units. I killed 114. And my opponent destroyed 45,000 credits worth of my assets. I destroyed 18,000 credits worth of his. Very nice. And he's got his GPS satellite counting down, so he's well on the way with all the tech. And he's producing defences, a Tanya, medium tank and helicopters, so it would have been difficult going forward. He's got 5 ore trucks for some reason. I don't know why that would be. I didn't destroy any as far as I know, so I wonder why that is. And he's got 3 oil derricks. He did very nicely for the oil derrick capturing at the start. He did very well. He's got 9 grand, I'm not surprised. So he earned 70,000, I earned 50,000. And my opponent was at 34 actions per minute, I was at 33 actions per minute, so we're giving orders at about the same rate. But there's the scores, look, 476 to 210 to my opponent. It was very good. And there's the third of these 3 games then for this post. If you like what you saw, give us a sub and a like. I hope you enjoyed all the games, and take good care of yourselves. And until next time, thank you and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.